And we are the Non-Prophets. I'm Denis Loubet, along with Jamie Boone and Kevin Stein, and technically we're coming to you live from the Free Thought Library in Austin, Texas, on the 7th of July, 2019, because we're living, and unless some tragic accident befalls us between today and tomorrow, we are coming to you. This show is sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization for the promotion of positive atheism and the separation of church and state. If you want to learn more about the ACA, you can call their voicemail at 512-220-6561 or visit their website at www.atheist-community.org. The Non-Prophets broadcasts every first and third Sunday of each month, and you can join the Non-Prophets chat room by following the directions at www.nonprophetsradio.com, or if you prefer, you can go with the YouTube live chat, which is playing right now, whatever now means in this milieu. So sit back and enjoy the show.
All right. Welcome. Man, it's been...
to the time-warped, lost in time episode.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a real long time since we got together, huh?
Man.
And not only that, we're not live.
Or are we?
It's hard to
It's
tell.
premiering.
We're alive, yet we're not live. It's bizarre.
Well, we might be
feel
in the
like-
live chat, actually.
I feel like that's presumptuous.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some tragedy could befall
I know,
us
that's the
between
thing.
now and tomorrow.
That is true. We could all be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, even. In like a ghosts the whole time twist.
Well, that's right. You know, if a prophet of God said that we'll be coming to you live tomorrow, that means that we can do anything and we'll live. So we can go skydiving without parachutes, anything we want to do.
Or are
and
we
we'll be
even here at all?
fine because
That's true, because a
we'll
true
be
prophet
live tomorrow.
True prophet of, yeah. I was going to say that, or what I thought you were going to say is live tomorrow. What does that prophet mean? And I was going to say, oh, that level of ambiguity, boom, instant religious schism over the interpretation.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, how
I'm
you
pretty
been,
sure.
Dennis? Oh,
I'm pretty sure I'm the only real person here. You guys are just figments of my imagination.
Well,
that's some hard solipsism right there.
yeah.
To make everything unambiguous, we're recording the show today on the 6th, and you're hearing it tomorrow on the 7th.
Or at a later date.
At any subsequent later date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're watching it at a different time, then that's the time that you're watching it, and that's not our fault. You did that.
Look behind you.
Yeah. We're there.
Wow.
They went in a weird
It's
direction.
an easy hypothesis to test. It's the power of not being a prophet. You get to appear
That's right.
in people's wherever through the YouTube videos, or I don't know.
Well,
I don't
now
watch
you
enough
can
horror films.
Say that, you know, we're either, we should photobomb every photo from now on somewhere in the background. There should
I don't
be
think
one of us.
I don't
at
think our
least.
natural powers, because they're not supernatural.
Extend to photos?
Yeah, our natural non-profit powers extend to photos. I think it's YouTube
So we should be some
specific.
sort of cough or comment or laugh in the background of
No, I think
every audio thing?
we just go through
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
We go through our show, so now we are there.
All right.
Kevin's
So
gonna-
anyway,
Yeah. How have you been, Dennis?
been doing okay. I
Yeah.
put some new products on my store, and so there's that. If anyone's interested, and I can mention it on this show,
I think.
Yeah.
You can.
all right, it's mainqueststudios.com.
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 I hear there's
All one word, of course, but still, yeah.
I hear there's awesome stuff there that Denis Loubet created. That is on.
Yes,
main event.
and I've got a new collection called the Polyhedral Collection. It's basically a bunch of dice that I rendered. I modeled them in 3D, rendered them out, and it makes this pattern background, which looks really good on just about everything. It's super colorful.
Oh, that's neat.
You should check that out.
So anyway, there's that.
Everything I say at camera is going to be creepy today. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
How have you been, Kevin? We haven't talked that much.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing glad to be back. We had to kind of postpone last episode because there was a board meeting that we had to attend.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but sorry guys.
Yep. The business gets in the way of the business. You want to take us with the first?
Yeah, why not?
Going right into it.
No reason not to.
Can you guess where it's from?
Is it from Christian Broadcast Network?
Man, you're good.
And I'm not a prophet. I just know things.
So I actually have two.
But you're not drinking. Oh, you are drinking, and you know things. So there you go.
So I've got two. They're both basically the exact same story. One's from CBN, and one is a Catholic news site that was a hyperlink to.
Mm-hmm. Hyperlink?
And
that's old school.
Yeah, you'll find out why I had to print out the other one once I get done with this. Okay. Former IKEA employee sues company after being fired for expressing biblical beliefs.
Dun, dun, dun.
That could just... Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's a CBN article, so of course.
They're so persecuted.
IKEA is being sued by a former employee after he was fired for posting Bible verses on the company's corporate network. The Christian Post reports that the employee, Thomas K., worked at an IKEA store location in Poland. He was let go from the store in wherever after he refused to delete a comment he posted on the company's intranet. Nice little title you guys got there. In May, the company celebrated International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. That is IDAHOT. Never heard of it. An article celebrating the IDAHOT event and the LGBT community was published on IKEA's site. Now, the employees were asked, I assume they were extended an invitation to attend, but it's saying here that they were asked to attend the pro-LGBT event, and Thomas did not agree with promoting homosexuality.
Oh.
Quote, I was shaken up.
Ooh.
I've been hired to sell furniture, but I'm a Catholic and these aren't my values, he replied to the company's article expressing his biblical beliefs and Christian values. He was subsequently fired from IKEA. Now, in a statement released by IKEA, one of the employees... in a statement by IKEA, quote, one of the employees published a comment under the article expressing his opinion in a way that could affect the rights and dignity of LGBT plus persons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And, yeah, so he was fired, and now he's trying to sue IKEA.
Sure.
He's claiming that they are...
Just
persecuting him for being a Christian, essentially. And what were the Bible quotes that he posted, you might ask?
I bet they're the fluffy, nice
were
ones.
I was asking myself that same question, and funny enough, CBN just didn't happen to provide them.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
So they are as follows.
Oh, boy.
Woe to him, through whom scandals come. It would be better for him to tie a millstone around his neck and plunge him into the depths of the sea. Matthew 18:6.
Oh. That's millstone, by the way, but yes!
Oh, shit. Oh, thank you.
We can fix it in post.
No, that's all good. Yeah.
Okay.
That one... I'm assuming that reading that one in context is makes it about.
Yeah, apparently we're not going to post. We're not going to
fix it. We've just been told.
We've just been informed.
Yeah.
So
All right, what else?
That was the first one that he posted. The second one was, if a man lies with a man as with a woman, Woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. Leviticus 20:13.
Yeah, I mean, they should really update Leviticus. It's been 6 years. So, seems kind of like if you're like, oh yeah, the Bible says you should die, that's not
Pretty
the same as
straightforward.
saying I'm a Christian.
Yeah, so basically IKEA was saying that these were veiled calls to violence and threats.
Well, yeah.
You know, if you kind of give them...
But they're biblical.
If you
calls.
translate them, basically the first one is, you know, these people that I don't like should die.
Yeah.
And then the second one is homosexuals specifically should be murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
You
pretty
really
obvious.
can't come back from that. I mean,
Sounds kind of like you're supporting the idea of killing people.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme over the past month.
It's
But it's not him, it's God.
Of course
See?
it is.
Yeah, right.
so
See?
it's
Gets to absolve them of all responsibility.
Yeah, I get to call for the murder of people I don't agree with, as long as I use a Bible quote to do it.
Right. Awesome.
If he said basically what these translate to logically, then he would absolutely not have a leg to stand on. That is absolutely 100% calling for violence against these people. Mm-hmm. But he decided he decided to use a Bible quote because I guess he figured it would be safe.
yeah. Well,
No one can object.
But truth, of course, obvious. Bible. Boom. You've been Bibled, basically. It's interesting because there are some people I think that share like Leviticus 20:13 that don't think about it as a call to. They just go, oh, that means that God's not okay with that. And I think that they get there because they're so used to ignoring what the Bible literally says.
Right.
That even when they use part of what it literally says, they ignore the rest. So they're like, well, of course I'm not going to kill people. It just says they're an abomination that should be put to death, which means we shouldn't have parades.
Right. Their blood will be upon them. I'm not sure how to interpret that.
Their blood will be upon them, which means I don't like rainbows anymore. God.
Right.
The book says kill them.
Yeah.
You can,
And if you quote the book, you're saying kill them.
You're saying, yeah. If you quote the book and you say yes, and I agree
I
with
approve
that,
with that. Yeah. You're saying kill them.
by all means, if you're a Christian and you disagree with that, make that statement, and then we'll have to have a conversation about, okay,
why don't you edit that out of your Bible? Hey,
Yeah, why don't you just not do any of that part?
Yeah, and it's funny, when people call in and try and argue, usually with Matt, about slavery, they're saying, no, you have to take it in the context with which it was written back then. Things were different back then. But now when you bring up quotes like this, they're like, no.
That's for today.
That is for today.
You need to look at that with a modern lens and whitewash it.
Yeah, they went back into the config file for their Bible, and they turned off slavery, but turned on hate the gays.
Right.
In the settings.
Yeah.
So that one
little
still
check
counts.
boxes, and
they've got little check boxes.
Yeah.
These are the parts that are canon. These are the parts that are not.
Under the heading cherry picking. Yeah.
Cherry picking.
These are
file.
canon, these
Yeah.
aren't. Cherry pick this, cherry pick that. This needs to be looked at through a historical lens only. This one needs to be looked at through a modern lens only.
Yep. Of course, then they're the ones who are going, kill them.
Yeah.
And
NIV and everything, yeah.
Yeah, you
there's
get the
those guys now.
Well, I mean, there's growth.
Well, they've always
now.
been there, but I mean,
it's
there's
growing.
ones that are just,
Yep.
they've got a group now.
Well, they more than one, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that way. No, they've got more than one. They've got more than one.
Of course.
I've got more than one, Dad. God, I'm succeeding at bigotry. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. And another thing is born.
Yeah.
So
I think I've got like one or two more quotes from this guy.
Sure.
hit us up.
Let's see. I don't think it's my duty. I quoted 2 quotations from the Holy Scriptures about stumbling and the fact that cohabitation between 2 men is an abomination.
It doesn't say that. Bible doesn't say nothing about having a roommate. Bert and Ernie are fine. Oh,
Yeah.
biblically.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I certainly do.
Yeah. I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah. It was humorous. You got another one for us? The pressure is mounting. Dum dum
Yeah.
dum dum dum.
Okay, so IKEA said the insinuation contained in the IKEA statement is unacceptable and violates Mr. Tamaz's personal rights. The insinuation being that it was a veiled threat and call to violence. I mean, yeah, pretty obvious.
I don't know. I feel like Christians that are that hardcore about the literal Bible are less likely to actually do something and more likely to just pray. Snapped.
Yeah.
No, I just mean, like, I get it as a veiled threat, but I'm not even sure it rises to that. It's just someone sort of loudly saying, yeah, no, I mean, I like this book that says you should die. Which,
Right.
whether you consider it a veiled threat or not, right? Maybe it's just I grew up in a right to work state.
Yeah,
told
I
that
mean-
was great, but I'm like, yeah, well, I mean,
Well, maybe we don't actually know the context of what his workplace and interpersonal relationships are necessarily.
That's
maybe
true, yeah.
he has a coworker that is, part of the community, and this was meant to be directed at that person. And
oh, then,
I mean, we don't know.
Right.
yeah. Then my question would be,
granted.
how is it veiled? But
In any case, I think I don't know what the laws are in Poland.
neither do I. It's a very Catholic country. I wouldn't be
Seems
surprised.
pretty clear cut from
Yeah.
where I'm sitting, but
I would say very Catholic culture. I mean, you're right. I don't know what the laws are, but it seems kind of like if you're putting this on like company whatever, that's not great. It would be firing someone because they were Christian if you figured out where they went on Sunday and that's how you learned that they were a Christian, and then they went to a church that that preached those views, and that was the only way you heard about it. And it's like, okay, well, you're deliberately trying to figure out what's in their head and to end their employment because of it, which is a very different question than, hey, I was quoting these passages about killing people. We are in violent agreement, I think.
I think I think the assumption is kind of like, you're creating a hostile work environment, and
Yeah.
these extreme passages that you quoted on our company page and
Yeah.
refused to take down. Sorry, I didn't mention that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Okay, well, that becomes much more clear.
So I distracted myself with my reading the Bible quotes.
Yeah.
Right. In a voice.
He refused to take them down, and he was on a company page
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
then-
about the
Well, then you're done.
LGBT
No, you're gone, dork.
inclusive event.
Yeah.
Man,
I-
I'm not on my game today.
No, I mean, it's fine. I'm just a little bit thrown off because it's like, well, of course. How
can you begin to justify this?
It doesn't. It almost doesn't even matter what opinion he was expressing initially. If he expressed an opinion and the company went, "Hey, you should take that off of our page," and he says, "No, I'm going to leave it up there," then
Yeah, you're fired.
him being if it was like, I think that bunnies should be genetically modified so that they're all actually pink, and that was his statement somewhere, and they said, "Oh no, take this down." He wouldn't be being and he said no, and they fired him. He wouldn't be persecuted for loving
No.
bunnies. Be persecuted because he's being a punk.
Yeah.
He's not following the directions of the company.
Yeah.
I think what he said in response to when they asked him to take it down, he said basically, I'm a Catholic, and as a Catholic, I cannot and refuse to censor God. because it was a Bible quote.
As a Catholic, I don't have to listen to what you say. It's like, it doesn't matter what you say as a insert whatever your thing is. Probably not. There probably isn't a thing that gives you special privileges in society because
I feel like an omnipotent being doesn't really need to worry about censorship.
I feel like yeah.
You know,
It's that whole omnipotent thing.
Yeah, he probably signed something to work there that said,
probably.
you know,
Yeah,
that he had to follow the directions of the higher ups in the company. I mean,
I mean, again, that's we don't know the laws.
Yeah, like hate speech isn't allowed on our company page.
Yeah.
And that absolutely is hate speech.
Yeah.
You can. It doesn't matter that it's a Bible verse. It's still hateful and fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't kill people. Just in general, don't do that.
You want to be a good person? Just stop paying attention to those quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Edit them out.
Yeah.
Edit them out of your Bible. What are they doing in there?
So what's the next story we got?
Well, we are following a theme here, and I got this one from religious broadcast. Religious news service.
Okay.
Oh, that's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, there won't be any bias.
Yeah.
They actually do pretty good.
I was gonna say, I think they're less.
They're not nearly anywhere near as bad as CBN. So this is from June 28th. Evangelical denomination expels entire congregation over LGBT policy.
Wow.
Yeah, this was interesting. So for the first time in its 134-year history, the Evangelical Covenant Church has voted to remove an entire congregation from its roster over its position on LGBTQ inclusion.
Okay. And I can guess which direction this went.
Yeah.
The super old church was like, you are not accepting of homosexuals, expelled. That's my prediction.
Oh.
Am I going to be right?
No.
Not a prophet.
Damn. Yeah. So
Hashtag not a prophet.
Womp womp.
So yeah, about a year back, they basically set up a policy saying, you know, we refuse outright to conduct any gay marriages, and they one of the pastors in particular decided to ignore that, and I think he performed a lesbian wedding. And the majority of the congregation was like, we need to be more inclusive of the LGBTQ plus community. And the higher ups within the church decided, you're not associated with us anymore.
Yeah, you can't sit with us.
Right. Yeah.
Me.
You can't be in our clubhouse.
Yeah. So
well,
vote.
It's their right. I mean, they've got their clubhouse. They can exclude who they want. It's just
no girls allowed.
It'd be great if they just kept doing that and excluded everyone. That would be awesome because then no one would be in their clubhouse. And
there's just like 3 people, and one of them is a pastor.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but I mean, this was a lot of people, though. This wasn't just a tiny rinky-dink church.
Does it say how large the congregation was?
I think it has it somewhere here. I'm going to get to it in just a sec. So the vote to expel the First Covenant Church, a prominent historic Minneapolis congregation, for being out of harmony on human sexuality.
Out of harmony on our bigotry. Yeah.
Took place at the denomination's annual meeting in Omaha. The Minneapolis church has never performed a gay marriage, though a lesbian couple had an off-site wedding performed by its music director back in 2014. So 3/4 of more than 1,000 delegates to the meeting voted to remove the church from the denomination, which includes 875 U.S. churches with about 300,000 members.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least they put their numbers where their mouth was.
Yeah.
Well-
They burned 300,000 of their parishioners and 875 of their churches.
That's cool. All I can say is go, 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 go. Burn more, burn more. Get rid of all
Wait.
your
So wait,
people.
that
That would be awesome.
that actually, I'm not. Is that the number of people that voted to remove?
No, that's the number of people they removed. What?
Yeah, because it says the denomination, which includes 875, and then if there's 1,000 others.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure that the
Boy, I read that wrong.
yeah, I'm sure that the congregation is large as well. So, but I mean, it's still now you have 875 churches in this and 300,000 people's representatives voted. You've approved, of a gay marriage. Begone,
Wow.
Satan. They might actually literally have said that because that makes
Yeah,
sense.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they would have literally said. It's probably not that, but
Yeah,
we usually say that jokingly.
that's not nothing. That's a pretty substantial chunk of
Yeah.
This issue is hitting churches enough that they have to address it in one way or another at their super mega awesome meetings where they vote on shit. So
Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot of people that have been basically displaced by the higher ups of their church. So,
Yeah.
What's next for them? I wonder. Maybe, maybe they're going to reflect on.
Another schism. Yay.
Maybe they'll reflect on why they're a part of this.
I mean, maybe. I think the people in the church that was excommunicated or whatever, expelled from the covenant of Jesus. I've forgotten what the name of the actual church is at this point. They're all covenant church. Yeah, whatever.
ECC.
That was, which one, what?
ECC. It is the Covenant Church.
Okay. Yeah, so the removed from the covenant, I think they're probably just going to stick with their church, assuming that they own the building. Because there's a church in town here that I think broke with the Lutheran Methodist, one of those churches, over their stance
They're all
on
the same to me.
homosexuality. Yeah. That and all the Methodist churches downtown or in Austin are doing little rainbow stripes and saying they dissent or whatever.
Yeah.
Ha-ha!
There's one church in town that has hosted us a couple of times.
Yeah,
Do you remember-
that's one of the ones that's broken.
Is it? Do you remember
From
if it's
the-
Lutheran or
It used to be
Methodist?
Trinity Methodist.
Well,
I think it's
doesn't
yeah,
matter
I don't
either
know.
way.
It ain't that now.
Well, this is just another, step in the drumbeat towards every Christian being their own denomination.
I mean,
Right?
you mean that being officially the
Another
stance, 'cause-
schism, boink, and then that group will schism, boink, and then that group will schism, boink, until every Christian is their own individual denomination.
I mean,
They're getting closer and closer to spiritualists
Yeah.
well,
who just have their own definition for everything.
Yeah, people in the same family going, I disagree with your opinion on God, therefore
I mean that's
your
happens a lot.
really fine
this specific,
granular disagreement on how many angels can dance on the head of a pin, and so you're out. I'm the only one left in my denomination.
Yeah.
Yep. Congratulations.
Yay.
You are emperor.
Keep going,
of-
guys.
Denis Loubet is emperor of Loubetism.
Loubetism, that's right. If you agree with me 100% on everything that I believe,
Yeah. Or you're willing to follow
there you go.
proclamations from
You'll be one of
Loubetism.
me, but
Yeah.
Potentially find more information at.
what? DenisLoubet.com? What?
No, I was asking you to plug.
My
I'm promoting your
my
work.
store?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. yeah.
Flawless.
They got it. Boy, we are clumsy with our segues. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely not refuse even to
Main Quest Studios.
The
It just
ECC's
seems
position on sexuality.
You know,
trying to help you, man.
I'm trying to make my own store, and I have to become this marketing guy, and I just hate it.
Well, pay me.
But I got to do it anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to people hating.
Yes.
So, the ECC's position on human sexuality states that a heterosexual marriage, faithfulness within marriage, and abstinence outside of marriage constitute the Christian standard. Quote, there is now a movement seeking to subvert the historic trust we have placed in the discernment of the annual meeting by refusing to live in harmony with our communally discerned position.
Wow. Surprised they would attack Trump in that way. I mean, that's amazing.
I got one more. Quote, if these groups are successful in such efforts, we will continue to devote time, energy, and resources to conversations we've held now for more than 20 years, diverting our focus away from topics such as immigration, mass incarceration, justice, and evangelism, matters that have never needed the presence of the faithful more than they do now.
Ooh.
How is that distinguishable, except for the reference to people of faith at the end and potentially evangelism? How is that distinguishable from the statement of a person about a political party's platform? Because basically he's like, well, we shouldn't address social issues of GSRM rights. We should be addressing these issues. Oh, also Jesus.
Yeah,
that's not
these
what
are
churches
off
are
limits.
fucking for.
Yeah,
So-
that's what we need. We need more churches inserting themselves into political
Political
matters.
issues.
Yeah,
Definitely.
We need it more now than ever.
Yeah, just in case you're wondering, that more than 875 churches, more than 300,000 people, they collect and gather money, and those are their views.
Yeah.
So if you wanted your voice to be heard politically, you would vote. And that's all I have to say about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vote.
This is a pretty low bar for them to slither under, and they still managed to fail. And yet they're somehow surprised that their numbers are continually slipping year after year, generation after generation.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of low bars, I've got one here.
All right, let's hear it.
A resolution condemning, I love the headline, a resolution condemning white supremacy causes chaos at the Southern Baptist Convention.
Oh, yeah, I heard something about this. Okay, keep going.
And the subheading is, at its annual meeting, the evangelical denomination initially declined to consider a statement of its opposition to the alt-right.
Wait, what's the date on this?
This is June 14th. Oh, 2017! Screw me. You nailed it, dude. I looked at that date and went, okay, 2019, great. No, 17. I'm getting my eyes examined.
No, because I remember.
That's gone.
I remember talking about that. I want to say last episode, maybe episode before last. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There was a vote to publicly condemn white supremacists and white nationalists, and they're like, oh, I don't know.
I don't think we can do that.
Do we have time on our schedule for that?
But no, we may not be live this episode, but we're not live. 2017. Holy shit. What?
I mean, hey,
my bad.
Yeah, they're like, no, we don't want to look like we're like we hate people we disagree with.
Man.
All right.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm going to carefully examine the dates of my other stories here.
Yeah.
Aha, 2018. No, you go away.
What?
God damn.
What? Dennis?
I get my stories from Facebook, and they keep posting these stories from like years ago.
Oh my God! One, don't get your stories from Facebook. Clearly, continue searching on Alta Vista where you find all these stories.
And actually, I think I remember. I remember seeing that pop up somewhere recently.
I feel like it's less damning than the headline implies. I think it was something like, "Oh, well, we don't want to condemn people, etc." And I know Christians that are kind-hearted, they're like, "Oh, they're just wrong, etc." But
well, it was their national convention. It was like
is
the higher ups within that community. They were going to take a vote on it, and it was actually it was a prominent African American pastor put the agenda on the table, and they're like, "No, we don't want to touch that."
Right.
And he was freaking outraged. They like took a break from their official meeting session, and he and a bunch of other people got together, and they're like, "No, we absolutely have to discuss this. We have to take a vote on this, and we have to fucking condemn these people." And so they're like, "No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to touch that." And gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, because
I mean, hey,
we might lose some people.
question not definitively answered.
Yeah, they ended up doing, by the time that the day had ended, they did the right thing, and they made a public statement condemning assholes, but they were forced into it.
Yeah.
Not just any ass.
Yeah, they didn't want to do it. Is the point really?
Yeah. Kudos to that pastor for pushing for something good.
Right. It's too bad he's part of a.
I mean, hey, the
whole group.
Just because there's more than you could do doesn't mean I can't say kudos for that thing that you did. Kudos for that thing.
Yeah.
But I do have a story though.
All right.
This one is 2019.
All right, let's do it.
Remember a while back, the last episode, a while back, I talked about a megachurch pastor tried to hire a hitman to kill his son-in-law.
I do remember that, yeah.
Well, oddly, I've got a story from May 25th, 2019. Pope Francis said Saturday that abortion was always unacceptable, regardless of whether a fetus is fatally ill or has pathological disorders. But apparently, he also used the word hitman. Is it legitimate to take out a human life to solve a problem? Take out a human life? Wow. Okay. He's talking smack here. All right. Francis asked attendees at a Vatican conference on the issue, repeating one of his most contentious remarks on the issue. Is it permissible to contract a hitman to solve a problem? So cool. Hitman's getting a lot of free press.
Yeah,
so that video game should be making
when's the next one coming out?
Tons of things. I don't know, man.
No. I think the CIA may be the only point of disagreement on that or whatever. Wow.
Right.
I'm just letting the political comments fly here.
A decision to abort based on medical information about an ill fetus amounted to inhuman eugenics, he said.
Okay, so it said a decision based on what medical information?
Ill fetus. Medical information about an ill fetus amounted to inhuman genetics.
So
as long as you keep it vague, then you can make broad, overarching accusations.
You can make broad statements about which, depending on the context or the underlying concepts, reasonable people could have different things to say. But
a short life of indescribable suffering, just fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so unless is that the specific example he's referring to? Because basically I'm backing up what Kevin said, which is that statement is vague enough that it reads in a way that's difficult to directly respond to.
There are medical conditions that a child can be born into that are indescribable suffering.
I know, but I don't know whether he's referring specifically to one of those or just vaguely to the idea that he thinks.
Well, the problem with being vague is that it includes those by its very nature of being vague.
Yeah, I think that was the Pope's
generalized
point. I think he was being purposely vague, to be honest. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not an honest actor by any stretch.
It's rhetoric. It's rhetoric.
Wow.
Here, hit us up with the next thing about inhuman genetics.
Let's see. It amounted to inhuman genetics and denied families the chance to welcome the weakest of children. He argued that using abortion as a mode of prevention could never be condoned, and that such a position had nothing to do with faith. Human life is sacred and inviolable, and the use of prenatal diagnosis for selective purposes should be discouraged with strength.
Wait, okay, someone can hold any position based on faith. You don't know that?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know.
True. So I mean, he's kind of basically saying that people are wanting to opt for abortions because their baby might be missing an arm or something like that.
Yeah.
Which maybe has happened at some point.
Right.
Maybe.
But
I mean,
it also includes, in the vagueness and the generalization, it also includes conditions of unimaginable suffering.
yes, that falls into that category.
So I guess he's siding with, Mother Teresa in that suffering brings you closer to Jesus. So suffer away, you babies.
I mean, I don't know that he's responding directly to that. But suffering bringing you closer to God is certainly not unique to Mother Teresa.
No,
that
true.
was her view. I don't know. The problem is that questions of when you get into abortion and gene editing and things like this is you can say, oh, okay, well, at what point would these things have an effect similar to directed eugenics? I mean, right now we basically have a free market of that. Sorry, my mind immediately goes to an interesting conversation that is somewhat relevant to reality, rather than someone ranting about what their faith tells them is true.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get it. He's basically, he's kind of making a slippery slope argument of, well, you can't allow abortion at all because if you do, where does it end? At first they start with aborting fetuses or blastocysts or whatever.
He would say babies.
Yeah. So he would say aborting a baby, because it is going to be born with, a condition that is going to make it have a very, very short life that is going to be a very terrible
indescribable
life.
suffering.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is, okay, so if you draw that line, then you're going to end up with
pushing that line.
Pushing that line to, okay, well, the sonogram shows that they're missing a toe. If I don't have a perfect, if I don't have a perfect baby, then fucking start
I'm sorry,
over.
Mrs. Smith, your baby has a hangnail.
Yeah. So we're gonna start over and try again. That's essentially what I got from his comment.
It could be.
Listen, Frank, you don't get to tell other people when they can and can't have abortions. Stop it.
Right. Or the reasons.
Yeah, or the reasons why
that are acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, well, okay.
You can tell the people in your flock, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
they've bought into your bullshit. So
you can give your opinion to people that want it, and expect some response to it. Hey, and you can speak your opinion publicly, but in terms of you thinking that other people should listen to your opinion and take it seriously because Jesus, I find your position entirely lacking of any reasonable support.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have a kind of a visceral reaction to if someone I knew said that they were going to have an abortion specifically because of a, solely cosmetic abnormality that is not going to, have a significant adverse effect on their child, assuming everything goes as planned.
Yeah, but I mean,
you can draw lines with, for good reasons, but he's saying, no, we can't draw lines because this is going to be a slippery slope, and so no abortions for anyone under any circumstances.
Right, and reasons are really irrelevant. I mean,
wait,
if we look at it from the position of bodily autonomy,
you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Reasons are irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's whatever the person decrees happens in their own body should be the end of it.
Yes. Sorry. For a split second, I just imagined a patient and a doctor, and the patient saying, "I decree that my decision is about treatment," right. And it threw me off for a second. Yeah. No, it's you don't own someone else. You don't own their body. You don't have a right to it.
Yeah, the Pope has a bad argument.
Your developing fetus does not own your body.
Take a step back, Frankie boy. Take a look at your life. Look at your choices. Think about it.
He's doing all right.
Well, he does have a palace. So
I just thought it amusing that 2 hitman stories in.
That's sort of true.
Yeah.
Fetus hitman, band name Dibs, by the way. So
that's good.
Yeah, fetus hitman.
So anyway, who's got another?
Yeah, well, I've got something.
All right.
Speaking of Catholics, they're not the only ones who abuse their power and privilege to rape kids.
What? Is it just humans with the ability? Yeah, okay. Hit me with the story before I become too sarcastic.
This is from July 1st, and I got this one from Religious News Service as well.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. He's bragging about how up-to-date his stories are, Dennis.
Oh.
Shots fired over here. All right. So what you got?
Again, it's not just the Catholics. Buddhist official tells police alleged abuse victim was exploring her sexuality.
What?
So
wait.
Just
drive this by me again.
Just plow through the first part of the story.
An official in the Buddhist group Shambhala International told police in May that a young woman was, quote, exploring her own sexuality when she was sexually assaulted more than a decade ago at the age of 13 by another man in the group.
Oh.
And that her, quote, exploration fed the man's addiction to pornography.
Wait.
Wow. See what you made me do. Oh, jeez.
What the fuck?
Oh. That's horrific.
How?
And not the way they think.
How do you get there? I mean,
yes.
Can I read that for a second while you're explaining
You're more than.
I mean, this is so insane that it's like it's hard to explain how it's wrong because it's so fundamentally wrong.
It reminds me of the lawyer that was trying to defend Cardinal Pell and the batshit crazy defense that he had to come up with.
What was it again?
Oh, I can't remember. I remember it was absolutely.
It was blaming the victim in a big way.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you have to get really creative when you're having to defend the indefensible, I guess.
Yeah.
So the official in question, the one who...
where is this taking place?
The one who crafted this. I think it is... Oh, geez.
Do we know?
Well, it's in the States.
Oh,
I can't remember, but I think it mentions it somewhere down here.
All right.
So, Colorado.
Okay.
So the official in question who crafted this defense, Dennis L. Southward, a 70-year-old, also told police that the woman, quote, could do a lot of damage to an important member of the community if she pressed charges against her alleged abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah, her alleged abuser being 54-year-old Michael Smith.
I think you mean that her alleged abuser caused a lot of damage to the community by being an alleged abuser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if she seeks justice in any way, oh man,
then more people will know there was injustice.
That could really shake things up for that guy. Could mess up his life.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Just think about how poor off the community would be if its members were held responsible for their actions.
Yeah, that'd be
Boom,
something.
mother.
Quote, So quote, Southern also pointed out that this incident occurred several years ago. So, I mean, it was so long ago. And that Smith is a business owner and still involved in the Shambhala community.
Wow, so am I. I'm a business
Colorado.
owner. Woohoo!
What is it that
He's a business owner.
That kind of
Who cares?
that always amazes me. It's like what? You're
He's a pillar of the community who happens to abuse people.
Yeah, you're distinguishing this person from whom? From what group of? Oh, he's not one of those. He's not like a rapist that lives in a ditch. He owns a business.
Right.
So what?
If you're not a white land-holding man, then your opinion can go fuck itself.
Well, then clearly you're a rapist, obviously.
Right.
So
Southward,
he's not like that.
Southward went on to say that police needed to tell Smith's accuser about the counseling he received after allegedly assaulting her. See, he's a... See, he...
What?
Oh, he received counseling.
It happened a long time ago, so we're cool now.
Right.
He's a business owner and a member of this community, so he's got to be off the hook because that would look bad.
Okay.
And he went and saw a counselor afterwards, so he presumably has moved on with it himself.
Clearly, we're not cool now because the victim is bringing it up. And also, we can't do anything against this person. We all know them. Like, strangers don't.
Why did he get counseling?
So it actually...
Was it because he abused a child?
No, it's the porn addiction that was fed by the
addiction.
Yeah, which is problematic. There needs to be a response if you're looking at porn. Is their view. Clearly, that's a good thing, but oh my gosh.
Well,
responding to an assault.
Actually, what happened is it was revealed that this abuse was taking place.
Yeah?
Back when it was taking place.
Okay.
But charges were never filed.
All right. So they're not saying he didn't do it.
No.
Yeah.
They're admitting he did it and got counseling for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the guy...
They don't want any.
So it's not a case of his accuser. It's a case of his victim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So the guy that's been crafting all this horrendous shit.
Wait, you mean writing the story or
sexually
assaulting someone?
Southward. The person
defending
defending
Dennis L. Southward.
Oh, the official.
Is the official that has been saying all this. 54-year-old Michael Smith is the actual, rapist.
Mm.
Southward has been, after saying all this stuff on the record, has been suspended from his leadership roles as of June 30th, pending further investigation.
Good.
Now, what makes it even worse is he was the one who learned about it or was told about this this abuse that was happening 10 years ago.
Mm.
So, police say Smith sexual. Okay, I'll read that in a second. But so he found out and he orchestrated we're going to keep this in-house.
The cover-up
type of punishment. And the punishment was, we're going to set some boundaries between you and little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to
go to some...
You have to go see a counselor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, this is a Buddhist organization that we're talking about. So police say Smith sexually assaulted the woman. I guess she's a woman now. Several times, beginning in 1997, when...
How old is she? Sorry, you said she's a woman now. That means
she's 23 now.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that.
When she was about 13 years old, at her home while she was renting a room there from her parents, which that's weird.
Wow. Okay.
And he met the parents through the Shambhala center in Boulder, Colorado.
Right.
And yeah, Southard made, yeah. So it came out, and Southard made Smith move out of the young woman's home. So he was living with them while he was abusing her.
Right.
Okay, just keep going.
It's a weird,
just keep going.
It's horrible.
It's some kind of weird communal.
Yeah.
I mean, that
living situation.
When there's not a rapist, that could probably work.
Yeah.
So he helped negotiate an arrangement by which Smith would pay for the victims, not the woman's, the victims' counseling. So, he paid for her counseling too, and counseling for himself. According to the report, he also set so-called boundaries for Smith's contact with children at Shambhala events.
Were they, you don't get to be around children or events with children?
No, you still get to be around, and you still get to be a member of this community.
So...
Okay,
it's... yeah, no, obviously this specific case is horrendous, and don't know. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Almost done. So, yeah, not everyone was apparently pleased with the arrangement Southern made. The family friend. So, yeah. Who? Probably the victim, for one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also a family friend whom she confided in, and that's part of how it came to light.
Right.
And the family friend said she became incredibly irritated.
Yeah.
Because Smith was a Buddhist at the time everyone wanted to keep in the Buddhist community. She was extremely irritated that the higher-ups in this Buddhist community, I think it's a very, very large international organization, so I'm not going to put that on them necessarily, but at least in this specific location in Colorado, they decided to sweep it under the rug, let that guy stay there, and only 10 years later are there finally some ramifications.
Right.
Other than having to pay for a counselor for your victim and having to get counseling yourself.
Right. And is counseling really considered a punishment? No.
No, and I mean, it should never be considered a punishment. So it's interesting because this individual story that's over there touches on a topic that can be addressed by reasonable people, which is that if you provide a space for to help people who are attracted to children get help and get counseling, that could be good. So the idea of a person that might do this getting counseling isn't what I oppose here. And their idea of the thing that we're objecting to is not that there was counseling. And I can understand why they came to the mistaken conclusion that this would be enough or good. But
I think we're annoyed by the fact that there was no trial.
Well,
no being arrested, and no sentencing.
That's kind of the thing that's annoying me right now.
Yeah, it's annoyed isn't a strong enough. I don't know. I had so much to say earlier, and now I have no words.
Well, because it's all so unrelenting.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
It is.
Particularly when you Google for it because you are on a show.
Yeah.
So apparently the way that this kind of came up is the international organization as a whole, their highest, the guy that holds the highest position.
Wait, what's the international organization?
It is the Shambhala International.
Okay.
So their higher up, their head guy, whose name I can't pronounce and I'm not going to try, he is actually has multiple credible allegations have been levied against him as well. And so the whole organization is kind of going through a shakeup because of that guy And then because of that, it was revealed that this Michael Smith guy had done this a decade ago. And actually, right about the same time, another victim came forward who said that she was assaulted by him when she was 13 as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So I said before, I don't hold the whole international.
So what are the allegations against the head guy?
He basically has been abusing just his position, and
okay.
I think it may be allegedly at this point. Sorry to throw that in.
Yeah, I've read one or two testimonials.
He's not raping children. He's just
Wait.
abusing his position to cover it up.
I mean,
he's been using his position as basically a spiritual leader to just have his way with anyone and anything he wants.
Well then.
wait.
Wow.
So is it there allegations of rape or just
Anything.
he just uses the
Not
fact that he's a
necessarily rape,
spiritual
but just using
abuse,
using women like their garbage.
womanizer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he's the spiritual version of a rock star, and he's playing it fast and loose, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
So not practicing what he preaches, presumably.
Yeah, not nearly as bad as...
Well, I never thought I would say, well, I mean, the head of the religious organization is just a hypocrite, but that's not that big a deal.
You can't blame
Allegedly,
him.
I don't know.
Ultimate power corrupts ultimately. It's like...
Yeah, crazy that there's top-down abuse in a religious organization, even
shocked.
when it's a Buddhist organization.
Yeah.
What? No.
They're supposed to be the good ones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I hear.
Yeah, but everyone I know in California that's a Buddhist is great, so...
And some people will tell you it's not a religion at all.
That's right. It's atheistic. There's no gods.
Yeah, but there's doctrines and stuff.
Just revered
Random.
personages.
And they refer to, in the testimonials that I've read through, they referred to clergy members.
Clergy. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
so they actually use religious,
Why would you do that?
Wait,
I don't know.
when you say they refer to clergy members, what do you mean?
Well, they refer to themselves with the same terms that...
Yeah, they use the wording of
church will.
of like this clergy member within Shambhala International.
It might be that there's not that's the English translation of whatever.
Possible.
I mean, that's
possible.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it also could have been made up by some dude from Kansas.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
I
it.
hope I've been pronouncing that correctly.
Shambhala.
I like the way Dennis says it. We should go.
Well, it's not that word.
We should go back and post and just have that be the Shambhala.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Is that a reference to
it's a
something?
mythical place, or I think
Shambhala?
Shambhala.
I thought it was, but
Okay.
yeah. So
yeah, that's that. Sorry, I didn't have any good news.
yeah, well, the non-prophets don't bring the good news.
That's right.
Except when we do, and when we do, it's great.
Yeah, it's just we get that stare when we go up to the people's doors and go, "Have you heard the bad news?" It's just like
I've got bad news for you.
That's a hard sell.
You
should have kept that 10%.
Have you heard the bad news?
Yeah. So does this?
There's lots.
So does this mean that we're ready for?
Boy, you sure think.
Are we ready for some shit in our apology, or are we still doing another thing?
We can do that, or we can
Go for it.
Shit, internet apology. I got to use it twice.
All right.
I was gonna say, or we could do a question.
Oh, do you have a question, Dennis? Do you have a question?
Do the shit first.
But you do have a question. Do you want to do?
I don't have one prepared.
Okay.
See if I can come up with one in the intervening seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Lay it on us, Jamie.
So, it's from just last month. No, sorry, from the end of May, but we didn't touch on it, and I'd like to for good reason.
Okay.
It's from Charisma News, which is breaking news, spiritual perspective. Yep. So Dr. James Dobson issues urgent warning about, quote, thinly veiled death sentence. This is...
Dobson. I recognize that name.
Yeah. It's weird.
Okay.
But so this is in response to the U.S. House of Representatives passing the Equality Act. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Dobson is unhappy about it. So he's writing for the, I forget where the name of the publication is, but this is his response, his words all the way through.
Okay.
In the history of our nation, there have been times when evil was so apparent and so heinous that they stand in infamy decades later. They include the Dred Scott decision on slavery in 1857 and the Roe v. Wade ruling that legalized abortion in 1973. Now we are faced with another such tragic moment in American history.
Wow.
A few days ago, on May 17th, Democrats in the House of Representatives passed what they call the Equality Act of 2019, which is breathtaking in its scope. If it survives a vote in the Senate, this legislation will represent one of the most egregious assaults on religious liberty ever foisted on the people of this great nation. It therein imposes a thinly veiled death sentence to the First Amendment to the Constitution and takes away the protections against tyranny handed down to us by our founding fathers. It was this unyielding commitment to religious liberty that led to American Revolutionary War from 1775 to 1783.
They're levying unfair taxes?
The pastors and the patriots of that day died to free themselves from British imperialism. Thank God for the men who stood courageously against the most powerful military in the world because freedom meant more to them than their own lives. From Texas. Let me speak candidly and passionately to people of faith throughout the United States of America. We must not remain silent as our historic liberties are gutted by Democrats and their
Satan
and their friends in the LGBT movement. They will enslave us if they prevail. We must let our voices be heard, first in the U.S. Senate, and then to the world. Exterminate! Viva liberty! Viva the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States! Viva biblical values and beliefs! And woe to those who would try to take them from us!
He actually wrote Viva.
Viva.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
So except for the aside read in a slightly different voice, those are all words that he wrote to represent his position. And yeah, sure, I added a funny voice, but
I thought for sure you added Viva.
Nope.
That's amazing.
No.
Wow.
Viva liberty. Viva the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. My favorite is that he lists the entire name.
Yeah.
In the second of his three vivas. Like you got to get Viva A, Viva B, Viva C. Like it's. Whatever.
But no, it's like Viva this long drawn out disclaimer, and then Viva.
Yeah, that sounds almost like something that I would try and do for a joke, but yeah. So basically, on May 17th, the House of Representatives passed something called the Equality Act of 2019, which actually is the subject of Taylor Swift's video. You need to calm down. Encouraging people to go out and support it. I also like that song, and so does Matt.
Did the act actually address equality?
Yes, it's to help promote and advance the rights of LGBTQIA plus.
Excellent.
Peoples.
You mean strip away religious liberty rights?
I mean,
enslave them if we prevail.
In the FEMA camps, right?
Wow.
He doesn't say that. I don't think he's actually thought through the literal parts of that.
Yeah, well, he needs to review who is it who's in the concentration camps right now. Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Sorry, I brought this up because I'm like, wow, there's so many things to respond to here. But when it hits you all at once, it's sort of like, I don't even know where to
start.
Okay.
Did you
So it's
steal my Bible quote voice just on the fly? I feel like...
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I did. There's also an inflection in there.
Right.
True.
Yeah. I mean, initially my instinct was read this as if you're trying to imitate Winston Churchill. But then I felt like it would, I don't know, come off too sincere. He puts Roe v. Wade in the same category as Dred Scott.
Yeah.
Those are not in the same category.
No.
Yeah, fascinating.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, one of these things found that there were humans that didn't count as humans for the law. And the other one found that, no, a person has a right to their own body. So, in a way, they're almost opposite, but at least on opposite ends of the our people property or
spectrum
owned by whatever.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of boils down to
Bad
what's
analogy.
What's that old adage, like, to those in power, equality feels like subjugation?
Yes.
Yeah, to those.
Yeah, I think I got it close, but not quite there.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, to those with power,
Or
equality feels like.
It's something like to those favored by the law, equality feels like oppression, or something like that. But yes,
Oppression. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now that we've workshopped this quote,
Equality feels like oppression. Yeah.
Wow.
How dare you also get a seat at the table? Now there's less room on the table for my elbows. Oppression?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well put.
Yeah, that actually was good.
man. And
That's
here in the
room
South,
for my elbows.
I was
Right.
raised to not keep my elbows on the table, so you can too.
Well, I'm fucking
Slouch at the table.
Casual.
Good man spreading out there with your elbows on the.
That's
Yeah.
not what that is.
man spreading. That always sounds super
terrible.
dirty. It sounds so dirty.
I feel like someone's gonna eventually have the pun, so I'll just say it now. It's gonna be a jar of something, and they're gonna have custom made a label that says man spread.
Oh,
And
no.
they're going to put it on a jar of something normal.
No,
and then they're
no.
going to film themselves. It'll be like mayonnaise. And they're going to film, it will be mayonnaise. Rest assured. And they're going to film themselves spreading mayonnaise over it and just be like, man spreading. And then the entire internet will vomit rainbows all over ourselves.
It's not that.
Yeah, but so the reason that I read this is not that I think that this individual speaks for the entirety or even a majority of people that would call themselves Christian. However, there are points that this diatribe touches on that echo other points made, right? The religious liberty means I don't want the law to treat everyone equally. Not my words, not theirs. And the First Amendment means I can do what I want, etc. It's like the people that champion, public money can be sent to religious schools bill and then get it passed, and then public money is sent to mosques and they freak out because they didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. No, we just meant the Christian one.
Unintended consequences.
But this idea of hyper-politicized organization that have a favored political party and have favored political issues, sure, if you have a set of values, generally that'll lead you to conclusions on issues of public policy. However, at what point are you not a church, and at what point are you at best, church plus lobbying organization?
Right.
Yeah. I thought Jesus was the thing that you guys talk about. I was pretty
And
sure that was
there should be a tax issue involved here.
I
You
don't work for the IRS. But I wanted to share that because he says "Viva."
A lot, which is bizarre.
Viva liberty. Viva the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States.
Viva la revolution.
Viva biblical values and beliefs. And woe to those that would try and take them from them.
Woe to the... What a dick.
Woe to you. It's hey, it's biblical. There's lots of woe in the Bible.
Yeah.
As in like, whoa, that's a miracle. So
Wow.
we should transition now, or let me say something else that's not as lame as the last thing I said.
Well, I can do a question.
Do you have one?
All right.
Does prophecy give you superpowers? Because if do Christians believe that prophecy gives you superpowers? Because they should. I mean, if the prophecy is you'll do this, then until you do that, you're invulnerable.
Well, if it's you'll be like you touched on earlier,
Right.
it's if you will
Basically
be
that.
somewhere live and alive.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, one, being able to discern the future, I think qualifies as a superpower.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
Well, that would be the God having the superpower
Well-
and telling some mere mortal what's going to happen.
But in the American comic book tradition, there are like magicians and superheroes, supervillains whose power comes from tapping into the source of a god or another realm. I'm actually not sure what the Covenant of comic nerds has said, or if they've issued a proclamation on what the definition of a thing is. But I think your question goes more to, does your prophecy cause the actions to be true, or are you told what actions will inevitably result?
Well, as far as I can tell, you're told what actions will inevitably result, and nothing can stop them.
Actually,
Which is
that
pretty
kind of
weird.
raises a question, and I might be off base here. If the ability to prophesy existed at all,
Yeah.
would that not mean that, everything is that fate is,
Written in stone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Absolutely.
If you could prophesy at all, that would mean that the future is completely static.
Yeah. Well, the God...
If you could prophesy perfectly accurately.
right.
And then also,
I guess that would be assumed, yeah.
at the very least, parts of it would be static.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I prophesy that one day I will die. I'm pretty
if you
sure-
keep your prophecy vague,
Yeah.
all sorts of deniability.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite thought experiments is that the God could come down and whisper in your ear a running commentary of everything you're going to do. And just before you do it, you're going to sit in that chair. You're going to eat some pizza. You're going to, go to bed.
Maybe
You're
I
gonna
will,
do this.
but
And
not 'cause you told
nothing-
me.
Nothing you can do can change any of it.
Well,
I mean, I'm wondering how long it would take for no matter, for anyone to feel like a complete
annoyed.
puppet.
No. Okay.
They'd be a
Yeah,
complete puppet,
I think it would be demoralizing and probably distracting from whatever you were trying to do.
Yeah, and then they'd have to realize that, well, even if the God isn't telling me what I'm going to do, he knows. And so all he did talking to me was show me the strings that are always there. And so it's
yeah,
like,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes,
this
if it's
life is meaningless compared to heaven anyway,
Yeah,
so
okay,
who
okay.
cares?
Well, it's meaningless because you're a freaking puppet.
Well, so it's a puppet if it's either an omniscient God that could change things if it wanted to,
Right.
or like a creator God in a deterministic universe. But otherwise, it's just, no, you're so predictable I can read you like a book, like annoyingly. I think.
Well, if If an all-knowing God created the universe and could create any universe it wanted to, then it created the universe in which you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but that God is boring. So
But that's the one they describe.
Well, yes, but so your question was about superpowers.
Yes,
and so
it's
with
about
that broad
superpowers.
scope, I'm going to take
You
it.
become
I guess
invulnerable at that
I
point.
kind of derailed us a little bit there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, you can.
I wanted to derail.
Yeah, if there's a prophecy that you're going to deny Jesus 3 times, like in the Bible, right? Then
What else
between that prophecy and denying Jesus 3 times, who was it? Was it
Peter.
Peter?
Bible
Peter
trivia.
could have thrown himself on his sword. He could have, jumped off the top of the Acropolis. I mean, there's nothing he could do that could that could kill him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Before denying Jesus 3 times, nothing he could have done.
I'm not sure that view of it works correctly. So the response would be that the prophecy wouldn't have been a prophecy if he were going to do that.
But once it's there, and supposedly you can do anything you want.
Actually, yeah, it's not a prophecy if it is deterministic already, necessarily.
Well, it is, I guess. It throws throws a question on what prophecy means.
Yeah, are you prophesying or are you just saying the thing that's going to happen?
Is the prophecy a dictate?
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think really when you're dealing with future seeing powers, you have to have some flaw and it has to be very limited. Otherwise, you just break existence.
Yeah. Well,
but
I mean,
That's So Raven rules, I think actually worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Because she only saw part
of it. If he
of
prophesies you'll deny Jesus, then he must have seen me jump off the Acropolis, and be unharmed.
Well, I mean, if that...
So basically, I'm utterly immune to anything until I carry out the prophecy, because God can't be wrong.
Well, so sure, but what if you get raised from the dead? I don't know. It might be. I guess. So the prophecy doesn't include everything in between the present moment and when the prophecy is fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. Right, but the prophecy issued by God could be of arbitrary accuracy. He can give
most
you all the details.
But sorry, my mind
most prophecies are vague, but he could be as specific as he wanted to be.
I mean, sure, but there's the argument that if humans have free will and God were to tell them what was going to happen, I think basically your question arises from knowledge of a prophecy would change your behavior. Like you would respond, you would do something in response.
Right, but it wouldn't affect the outcome.
True.
It would change your behavior, but it can't affect the outcome.
I'm coming back to that So Raven. Yeah. Usually the knowledge of the slight misinterpreted vision of the future influences Raven's decisions, and then oftentimes that makes whatever the thing is happen. It's almost like this whole thing about prophecy.
I'm going to come back to, does the ability to prophesy necessarily basically demand that fate is deterministic?
Well, kind of, because I mean,
At least parts of
you
it.
can't change the outcome.
Yeah.
No matter how much free will you bring to bear, you cannot alter the outcome. I mean,
you can try to change it, but inevitably you can't.
Yeah, if we have anything like free will, it's utterly useless.
Well,
because it cannot change the outcome.
It's utterly useless at combating prophecy. You mean?
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget that the Bible also says, you'll know that a prophet is a prophet if their prophecies are right, and if a prophet offers prophecies and they're false, then they're not.
Right.
So.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you for that little bit.
Yeah. If it works, then yep, that's the thing. And if it doesn't, it's not. If it burns, then it's fire.
Right. That's actually amazingly, rational, so to speak, of them. I mean, they've identified a tautology there,
Yeah.
So you actually reminded me, we got an email.
Yeah?
It almost slipped through the cracks, but it is actually about determinism.
Oh, cool. I always love that.
This is from Chuck. It is titled Easy Proof of Determinism. Every position is either true or false. I might not know which is the case for some proposition about the future, but since a proposition is either true or false right now, the future must already be fixed.
Ooh, I don't know.
Run that by me one more time.
I don't like it.
It's right there.
All right.
That's Chuck from Arizona.
Thank
you for the email, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not sure I go with that. That's kind of almost like what's the proof of God from
imagination? It's the giant
from the
island.
definition. You define God into existence.
That's actually that's sort of very discerning and cuts to the point, because basically it's it cuts down to the presentation is very good, and I can understand why that was something that you felt was persuasive, but I remain unpersuaded, Chuck, I guess is what I'm talking to.
I mean,
because
it's kind of a binary determinism then.
Kind of, but it's also if you break the statement down, it's I could make a proposition about the future, and that proposition, there is one that would describe what will happen. Mm-hmm. Therefore, what will happen is determined. So, no. And actually, the part of the statement demonstrates that, because you could make a proposition about the future that either would or wouldn't be false. Just because there is a true one doesn't mean that the future is unknown, right? So from the limited knowledge that we have as humans, it will rain tomorrow, right? It will be raining when I wake up tomorrow.
Or it won't.
Yeah, or it won't, right? But the fact that either my statement will be true or false doesn't necessarily mean that the universe is deterministic.
So like the gumballs then? Kinda?
Kind of. Mostly it's just...
This one's going a little over my head.
Mostly it's just because there will be a future, and because someone could predict it, does not mean that the future that could be correctly predicted is necessary, right? Because I can say any number of things randomly, and that actually, depending on what I say, it might affect it, right?
Each of those things is true or false. Oh, man. I had an objection to this, but it's like it's so tenuous that I can't hold it in my head.
Let me read it.
What was your objection?
Read it again.
Yeah, I can't remember it. It's like...
Every proposition is either true or false. I might not know which is the case for some proposition about the future, but since such a proposition is either true or false right now, the future must already be fixed.
So,
is something true or false?
It's not true
until
right now. So the proposition it will rain tomorrow
is unknown.
Is unknown. But
it's not true or false.
It can't be said to be true or false.
Yeah. Okay.
Now.
Yeah. Now I got it.
Yeah. That's until events unfold. Right. So a proposition does not exist independent of time. The quality of true or false, true or likely true of a proposition is not eternal.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't come to a belief about that proposition. You can't determine that quality of that proposition. And in some ways, that proposition, that quality you could argue either does or doesn't exist if the proposition is, it will rain tomorrow when I wake up. Right. That proposition isn't true until it does rain.
Now, here's a question.
So it's not true right now.
What if it's a proposition about what you're going to do? And
I don't think that changes it.
And you know it. And
well, that would influence your thinking, but you would still either do it or not do it.
I could make the proposition false, but then it would be false. But that's a tautology. I could make it true, but then it would be true.
So the question about the future being fixed is a question about whether or not the universe is deterministic.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be raining tomorrow when I wake up, right? We fast forward through tomorrow. It's true, right? If we could, colloquially run the tape back and hit play again, It would be deterministic if no matter how many times you did that, you got the same result, and it wouldn't be deterministic if you could play it back and maybe it would rain, maybe it wouldn't.
Right.
Right.
Now, we suppose
So,
it would
in either-
rain every time.
Yeah, no. In either case, in a case of a non-deterministic universe where it is not yet determined whether or not it will rain tomorrow, I could say it will rain tomorrow, and you could play the tape forward and it is true, or you could play the tape back, play it back again, and it's false. So the notion that I could make a prediction or a proposition about the future that could be true doesn't mean that it's fixed. It's only fixed as much as it's either this or that is fixed.
Right.
Because the conclusion is
Right.
things are either true or not true, even in the future. It's one of those. Well, no, you haven't stated
fixed
that
anything.
there is a fixed
Yeah, you haven't fixed
category.
anything.
You've said that
All you've said is there are options.
yeah, the future will, as far as its propositions are concerned, conform to a true dichotomy in its qualities.
Wow.
That, sure, you could say, fundamental laws of logic are
That was an interesting.
That was verbose, but I
very.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
On my
I think
part.
I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, it was a really good
really wasn't
question.
a question. It was a good observation, and I don't agree, but
Well, good
hey,
email.
he could respond to this and
I think he should, because
Yeah.
there's responses.
tell us where we're going wrong.
I think there's responses that he could give even to mine that would be valid criticisms.
Yeah.
So,
Good
yeah.
one. That was a good.
I think we're at
yeah, we're
time,
pretty
though,
much
aren't
at
we?
time. I've got one more story, but we can do this next
save it.
episode. Yeah.
Save it for next time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis, take us
Okay.
out.
Well, I don't have a clever outro other than we're speaking to you from the past. That was our show, and we hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back in 2 weeks on the 21st of July. So until then, avoid all dogma.
Woof woof. Dogma. It's a cheap pun.
We've